if you could draw any character twice as good and twice as fast? That just sounds impossible, but actually it's quite simple. All you need is a quick 5-minute exercise that you do before every single project you make. The mystical key that I've been talking about is gesture drawing. They look something like this. Hello! I'm going to teach you the 3 basics of gesture drawing, from the simple to the necessary to the downright impressive. The first point is line of action. This one has less to do with your drawing skill and more to do with your eyes. Focus on the largest arc that goes through the entire body from head to toe. But don't just use any kind of randomly complicated lines. The image will look very scribbled and it's going to look like a 5-year-old drew it. Some simple curves that you can use are C curves, S curves, and straight curves. These ones are going to appear everywhere. Trust me on this. The C curve is just a very simple arc. It's usually when you're trying to show like movement from one side to the other. The S curve is a bit different. It's really just the more natural version of the C curve. That, or it's just 2 C curves into one. This one is where you get the best results when you use it correctly. One of my favorite uses of it is this screenshot from Across the Spider-Verse. And if you look at the background, you can even see the webs also following their own C curve or something like that. And then there's the straight curve. That's all we have for the straight curve. But seriously though, when you use a straight curve, it's usually best for like really stiff movements or like striking movements, like a punch or a kick or that sort of thing. Also, speaking of curves, do you remember that drawing we had from before? Yeah, that one's also using a S-curve in it.
What do you mean by that one?
The next thing that we need to talk about is placing the parts of the body on this figure. Because right now we just have one big straight line, which is good, but it's not a person. The next thing that we need to do is locate the most important landmarks of the body so that we can actually place the other parts accordingly based on those places. The landmarks that I recommend you look at are the hips or waist compared to the here to here. Because now that you have the collarbone and the waist, you're now able to see all of like the arms and the legs and the torso. You're able to compare all of those things with those landmarks and where they're placed. Awesome transition like this. So if I'm just like standing here, you can see my arm starts from my shoulder over here where my collarbone is, and then it goes all the way to the top of my head. If you had no idea where this collarbone was, it might be like down here or too high. But now that you have the collarbone, the collarbone, you're able to actually know where the things go. Back here again. Even when you know all of this, you're not going to be able to capture all of the energy of the reference. The reason for that is because you don't have 0.3 exaggeration. Everything up until this point has been looking at putting down exactly what is happening in the reference. Except, that is not the full potential of gesture drawing. When doing gesture drawing, it is important to exaggerate the curves of the subject instead of just copying them completely. That helps create a more interesting and dynamic image to the viewer. What you need to do is go, what is the strongest line of action? Can I change the angle? Or maybe there are other angles that point in the same direction. Quick transition again. Hello. So you can see that there is a kind of line going through this arm here, that direction. But this arm is not. So what if we go like that? Does that create a more dynamic image? If it doesn't, then you take it back and you go back here. Is there something else we can change? Like maybe it's going like that, or maybe something else, you know? Pretty much you're just trying to move the arms and legs in a way that makes sense, but also makes the image way more dynamic. Now you have all of the basics to do gesture drawing on your own, but doing just one gesture drawing is okay.
Am I just a gesture drawing? Am I not a real person? What?
But drawing 50, that's a different story.
There is 50.
Do multiple gesture drawings with smaller time limits so that your perfectionism and anxieties completely go away, because you know you can't make it perfect in 2 minutes. It might sound crazy, I get that, but doing quick, small sketches in 2 minutes and doing like 10 of them before you do any session, it's going to make your drawings look so much better. I'm telling you, it does. I know because I've done it. Oh, and another thing, if you make any mistakes, you can always just erase it.
Tell my family I